Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Motility Coffee Break series of webinars. Today, we're going to be talking about internal financial statements that are offered through the software. My name is Chris Hoffreiter, and we're going to be walking through internal statements today. An internal statement, sometimes called a DMS statement, and also we call it a dealership financial statement. And it's a simple way to view your balance sheet and your profit and loss by consolidating your chart of accounts down into individual buckets. So this report is useful for sending financial statements to the owner of the dealership or reporting to banks or outside entities your financial information. And it does come standard with the software. However, depending on your chart of accounts, it might need to be set up before it will be accurate. So today I'm going to be talking about how to set up that internal statement a little bit and how to customize it to your liking. So those are the skills you can come away with this with. So financial statements, of course, we do have a built-in you might have known we have a balance sheet, we have a profit and loss. The thing we're going to be talking about is the dealership financial statements, which does combine your profit and loss and your balance sheet onto one easy to read statement. So to find this, you're going to navigate to accounting reports, general ledger reports, and then dealership financial statements. The two types of outputs we have are a dealership balance sheet and a dealership profit and loss. To get these reports to show, you're going to pick your posting month. So if I pick January 2020, for example, and hit show reports, it will print out a dealership balance sheet for that period. All right, so the dealership balance sheet is going to show your balance sheet with all the assets on the left-hand side, and of course, total liabilities and net worth on the right-hand side with your balances down here at the bottom. And one other thing that's kind of nice about this is that it does give you a month-by-month profit and loss. That's your net profit that's being displayed month by month. Because we're running this for January, I'm only seeing the January numbers in here. But if we take a step back here, let's say we run this for December 2019, or even month 13, 2019. If you'd like to see your year-end adjustments, I don't have any year-end adjustments. So we'll run it for 12/2019. So you can see all that profit and loss shown month by month. Okay, so that's January, February, March. So all of your net profits for those individual months are displayed on a month-by-month basis. That's really kind of a convenient place to look at it. Depending on your chart of accounts, this may be a much simpler thing to look at, especially if you have a lot of individual accounts on the chart of accounts. You know, this is a bucket. This cash in hand is considered to be a bucket, so it might include totals from a clearing account or possibly, you know, a petty cash account. They would all roll up into the cash on hand bucket. And the same thing for cash in bank. You may have 4 or 5 different bank accounts that all sum up into cash in bank. And that's the purpose of a bucket report, is to sum up those individual GL accounts and put them onto one line item. So the other report, just so that you can see how this works, would be the dealership profit and loss. Dealership profit and loss will show you an itemization of your expense accounts. So again, if you have a lot of expense accounts on your chart of accounts, you can roll them up into these buckets. So compensation, delivery expense, policy work. These are all the buckets that can be used for your financial statement. Of course, at the top, it does give you your total sale revenue and your gross profit. On this report, we don't have individual buckets for revenue versus cost. All revenue and cost go into the same bucket. well, revenue goes into one bucket, cost goes into another bucket so that we can calculate your gross profit up here. And then we have a breakout for all those individual expense accounts with net profit showing at the bottom. All right, so again, that's an example of the two kinds of dealership statements that we have. The third one that I'm going to show you is the spreadsheet bucket numbers. You can look at this when you're setting up or customizing these reports. It's going to show you on each report what the bucket numbers are. So here on the profit and loss, total sale revenue, all revenue accounts go into bucket 1002. And there's a note here that all cost accounts go to bucket 1003. And then compensation is bucket 1005, delivery expense 1006. These are the bucket numbers that are hard-coded onto this report. So when you're setting up the chart of accounts, there's a place where you can put in that bucket number onto each GL account so that it will flow, the money will flow into the correct bucket. All right, also these can be customized. So again, it comes set up in the software automatically, but you can customize it if you like. There is a modify bucket descriptions button here. And when you click on that, it allows you to look at each bucket number and change what its description is. So again, you can't change the bucket numbers, they're hard-coded, but you can change what the description is so that you can customize it to your liking. So scrolling down here, for example, bucket 1005 is compensation, bucket 1006 is delivery expense. If I wanted to change delivery expense to something else, I could just retype it here, and that's my customization. All right, so that's how that works. It's totally customizable, and then you can have a one-page balance sheet, one-page profit and loss. That might be a lot simpler to look at. All right, so the other thing I want to talk about is how to actually set that up on your chart of accounts. If you go to the accounting module here, go to Edit, Modify, Add Modified GL Accounts. This is going to show us, if I maximize it, there is actually a column here for internal statement. Internal statement is where you're going to put those bucket numbers onto the chart of accounts. And if I scroll down here to all these cost accounts are all set to bucket 1003, and all revenue accounts are set to bucket 1002. And if I look for my 1005 account, you can see that my commissions expense accounts are flowing into bucket 1005 on the profit and loss. 1006 doesn't have anything in there. You can change these by clicking on the account and moving over to the internal statement at the top right. You could change your account from one bucket to another. Again, using the spreadsheet bucket numbers printout as a reference, and that's how you would set this up. So just to summarize, the internal dealership financial statement is a report that sums up your chart of accounts into buckets and provides a one-page balance sheet and profit and loss that might be a little simpler. For, again, it's for external reporting to banks or perhaps other companies, or to the dealership principals, dealership owners who want to see how the business is doing. All right, so that is all with that's all we really had to cover here as far as the internal dealership statements. If you all have any questions, feel free to email your questions to support@motilitysoftware.com. Again, my name is Chris Hoffreiter, and thank you for your attentiveness in today's Coffee Break webinar.